Hey guys, welcome back to Tango Delta 6 YouTube. My name is Dave. Today we're just going to have a quick overview recap of the AMA with Rematic. They came on to the TangoCrypto Discord and shared with our members an AMA, and they had an amazing slide deck with some new announcements and an update for what's going on with Rematic. And they also dropped some breaking news in the middle of this particular AMA. So make sure you grab a pen and piece of paper and watch all the way till the end. As always, remember, nothing that we talk about here today is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but we do have an awesome community that we're building at Tango Crypto, and our goal is to educate people on how to get better in the crypto space and have a nice, fun, safe, family-friendly place where they can learn about crypto and investing and learn to have fun and get better at it as they go. Please leave a like, subscribe, and feel free to comment on the videos. We try to respond to all the comments and engage with the community. We're just glad you're here. Thank you so much for your likes and your subscriptions to the channel so far. I want to welcome everybody in to Tango Crypto Discord. We're super excited tonight to be hosting this event for a chance for everybody to kind of get a chance to hear directly from the CEO, CTO, COO, and CHO. For those of you that don't know, that is the Chief Hype Officer for Rematic tokens, and we're excited to have them here. As most of you know, Rematic is a token that we did our vetting process early on. We liked everything we saw about it, and it passed our vetting. Our Tier 2 membership participated in the pre-sale at a pretty good rate. I believe we have a lot of Tier 2 members from back then that are pre-sale holders enjoying those vested token drops. Absolutely, absolutely, right? And then a lot of us also, we live streamed the live launch. So we had a lot of people that were buying as soon as y'all turn the lights on. So Tango Crypto is a big fan of what you guys have going. And we're just happy that you guys are here. I know that you have, I see that you've got your screen shared, Mike. So I am going to put that on full screen. I think it will be for me. And that way I can get it recorded here. And if you will, Mike, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, Dave, thank you. The entire Tango Crypto community really appreciate you having us here. We're going to take some time to go over a little bit of history, how we got established as a token, sort of what that journey has been like to this point. We'll touch on some of the community metrics and talk a little bit about where we stand from that perspective. And then we'll talk about the utilities in the future as well. Again, this session is really designed to be a recourse or refresh, if you will, of sort of what we're all about, what our mission is, and what value we're bringing to the crypto space and to our investors. So hopefully that will give you all some good insight into what we're all about.
Fantastic. Well, I know you guys have, I like this cover slide. Looks like you grabbed our logo and got some things going. So that's super exciting. And we're glad to have you guys here. So do you have anything that you want to start with opening, or there you go?
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about, yeah, Dave, thanks. We're going to talk a little about the history of RMTX, how we got started. We'll go over who the core team members are, talk a little bit about themselves, give an opportunity to allow them to introduce themselves to the greater audience that's here. I want to touch on the community and what it means to me and what it means to all of us. As I mentioned, we'll talk a little bit about what the utilities are going to bring for the investors and what direction the organization is headed. And then, we really wanted to keep it casual, open it up for Q&A to your audience, let them really ask whatever questions they have of us, and sort of get that dialogue going back and forth. So that's sort of the agenda in terms of what we want to do this evening. So getting started, a little bit about the history, the creation of Rematic Tokens, LLC, and the token itself, RMTX. It was a vision that really started a little bit earlier than October. I would say a year and a half in the making. But really, it got started in October. There was some general conversations about actually moving this forward. Some of you may know through LinkedIn, through looking at the profiles. Both Brady and I worked for the same employer for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. So we have a little bit of history there, and we've talked about in the past bringing the technology of the blockchain to the commercial world. And we never really saw it through until obviously RMTX was established. So back in October, we talked a little bit, decided to move forward with the establishment of a token, and really wanted to not just create a token so we can build applications, but really wanted to bring a level of professionalism to the space that we hadn't seen. But more importantly, we wanted to make sure that we were doing it in a way that was very clear and transparent in a space where that's really hard to come by. And so that's where we saw the value in not just what we wanted to build, but how this space actually operates. We wanted to be better. How could we go about being better? Well, it starts with how we communicate with the community, how we approached the launch, and sharing that vision and mapping it out really is, I think, a testament to the success that we've had and the foundation and the community members that we have that are supporting this token. So if we think about it from that perspective, in November, what we did was we started a launch pad, but we started it about 15 days, 16 days out with nothing but a website and a Telegram channel. We set up a Twitter account actually a couple of days after having the Telegram account established. And I personally took it upon myself to meet and greet and talk to each individual as they came into the community. Wanted to share with them what the vision was, what it is we wanted to accomplish, what we were going to stand for, and what we were going to be about as a token. So that gave me a very good opportunity to speak with those initial folks that came in and started learning about and understanding what it is that we wanted to accomplish. And I think that played dividends later that I'll get into in a little bit. We wanted to remain 100% organic focused and organic growth. We didn't want to procure the services of shillers and bot services and all those previous tricks and tactics that have been used in the past to really draw attention based on numbers, right? Oh wow, we have 20,000 people in our Telegram group. Yeah, that's great, but there's a message a minute coming across, and there's 3 people online. What does that really mean, right? So we wanted to make sure we kept it organic. We wanted to make sure we kept that growth natural, and we wanted to find and attract people that are like-minded, that understood the long-term possibilities within this space, and to take full advantage of it. So that was the approach and the communication message back in November. And as we got into December, we really wanted to make sure that when we went through with the ICO, that we had a community of inclusion. So part of that was the core team that you see established here, that you're going to get to meet, may have already spoken with if you're out in our Discord channels. But if you haven't had a chance to come to our Discord, come to our Telegram group, a lot of those individuals and those faces that you see are people that came onto this journey with the vision that I put forward. And so we wanted to be about a community of inclusion. We wanted to facilitate and source ideas from the community. We've reached out to different community members to help make this project what it is today. And because of that, we will always have a policy of transparency and openness to our community members, because it's not just about the core team and their token and our token. It's my token or his token. It is everyone's token. And that's really the message that we're trying to send out into this space, that it is possible to do it this way. So who are the core team members? Well, if you hadn't had a chance to check out our website, if you're not familiar with the names and faces, I didn't put them up here because I want them to each introduce themselves. So first, I want to check and see if Brady, if your mic is on, or if you're able to unmute yourself, let me know.
Hey, yep. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right. So yes, I can. So Brady's smiling face is the top left picture that you see there. So I'll let him say a couple of words about himself and sort of what his background is and what he believes he brings to the table and can help all of us, not just the core team, but from the investor standpoint as well.
Thank you. So just to give a brief introduction to myself, again, like Mike said, we previously worked together at a firm in Northern Virginia. We worked there for about 1.5 years, 2 years together. And then I ventured out to actually work as a consultant for a firm up in New York City. And a lot of the work that I did was focused on, automation for big financial technology companies, a lot of banks, insurance companies, as well as some government agencies. And then from there, I moved on to actually start my own small little web hosting company and managed service provider. And during that process, I gained a lot of experience managing tech teams, managing a lot of IT security, and just kind of growing and facilitating the growth of actual products for organizations. And so, my vision here with RMTX is to do the same. It's to, work with a large community of people that really, have a passion towards these projects that we're putting out, and make the best stuff we can.
Thanks, Brady. Really appreciate that. And I think you're selling yourself a little short, not touching on the background that you have in cybersecurity. So we'll leave that for another day. James, is your mic open?
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
All right. He's top
Yeah.
center.
Yeah, so I'm top center. My name's James Lewis. I am, the Chief Operating Officer or Vice President of Operations for Rematic Tokens LLC, RematicEGC. I'm 25 years old and I was doing a degree in business management. Well, not doing, done. And I've got an international business management master's under my belt. Straight from there, I went and carried on retail, but I took on a more senior role where I was to deal with the kind of the operational side of stuff. So when it comes to like my experience, it's more retail operations, but my strategy implementation, as you might be on the website, foot traffic growth is where I kind of come into play. So I like to deal with the strategization of specific areas. So dealing with making things more productive between the teams, efficiency wise. I tend to do a lot of the marketing as well at the moment. So I like to envision where we can be or where we will be. So I know with like, for example, Google Analytics, it gives me a very wide array of information which I can take into the perspective of where we are currently. So where we might be established or where we are best at, let's say America or England or United Kingdom, should I say. And it allows me to just generalize and pursue like further strategy growth. So at the moment, that is my key take and what I tend to do mostly in this position, the marketing side and the operational. So dealing with like trying to make things more efficient or the moderators or like the Telegram, and then further pursuing the actual Rematic Tokens LLC in different ventures, which you'll soon come to see down the line.
Thanks, James. Really appreciate that. Next, I don't think he needs any introduction. I know we're still all waiting on a picture of his nice smiling mug. But Ricky, do you mind saying a few words? Give the folks here a little bit of background about yourself.
Yeah. Sorry for the photo. I'm looking for the right selfie. Let's see. So I've been born working in business ventures pretty much. I've worked with companies such as Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Alcoa in the aerospace industry, and now I'm in the medical device manufacturing industry as an operations director. But I've done plenty of project managing, marketing, project coordinating, commercial contracts, and things like that. So felt like Rematic was something that I could help and contribute with, and fortunately, I was given the opportunity with the team here. So just doing my part in the backgrounds of things, but trying to keep up with Brady, James, and Mike for sure.
Appreciate that, Ricky. And Eric, I know you're on here. I don't know if you want to give a shout out or not. I hadn't had a chance to talk to you before this session, but I'll leave it open if you do want to say a couple words, a little bit about yourself. I think most of the people in the community here might know you already, but by all means, if you don't mind.
Sure. So everyone here probably knows me, but my name is Eric. I'm the community manager of RematicEGC, and I also happen to be one of the owners of TangoCrypto, so a little bit of a dual hat there. But my background is mostly just that a few years back, I decided I wanted to start getting into crypto, so I played around with some early stuff, and over the last few years, I've met a lot of people and learned about marketing. I also have a degree in business, so I do take a lot of that knowledge into expanding the community and keeping the community engaged in some kind of low-level marketing stuff that we do to keep people interested in and finding Rematic. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Eric. Really appreciate that. Myself, center bottom, you see there. I will get that photo updated at some point. It's about 7.5 years old, I believe, at this point. So I am a little bit older in appearance than that picture may entail. Myself, my name is Mike Pazuki. Boxed last Friday, and you all know why. We'll get into that in a little bit. But one of the things that I wanted to share with you all about my background is that I first started off in the government contracting world. I worked my way up from the very entry level positions of pulling out staples and removing pages from each other so they can get fed through a scanner, all the way up through team lead, management, technical manager, project manager to program manager, then to contracting, and worked my way up through the government that way, through the government contracting side of the house. I've worked for both large, extremely large organizations, Canon, one of the largest companies in the world, as well as some smaller boutique, innovative technology firms, both in the correct capacity of director as well as head of intelligent automation for the current company that I currently work at. It's been a part of my life in terms of everything that I've done in regards to providing innovative solutions and sort of process changing technology to organizations that help them save hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in terms of implementing these new age technologies in terms of robotics process automation, artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithm softwares that perform data extraction from documentation, electronic document management systems, content management systems. So a whole wide array of applications that are used in the commercial world I've been a part of, overseeing the implementation of, and even helped design at some point along the way in my career. So that's the background that I have and the expertise that I bring to the table in terms of what we're trying to accomplish as an organization. As you see over on the bottom left part of your screen, that's obviously an avatar screenshot of our web developer, and I wanted to just give her a shout out because she's been absolutely phenomenal to work with. You all see from the content that she's been creating through the website, so all that's done by her. She's been sort of with us since day one. Started off as a freelance contractor and is now a part of the team because of the work that she's done and the commitment she has to this project. So wanted to give her a shout out. And she's out there in the Telegram. She's out there in the Discord here and there, but not really active in the community. And we're probably just going to keep it that way for the time being. So with that overview, sort of who we are and where we come from, I want to talk a little bit about the most important aspect of this project, and that is the community. Because without the community, we don't exist. And under the last, just shy of 6 weeks from our initial coin offering, we have over 1,100 Discord members, 3,800 Twitter followers, 4,600 plus Telegram members. The most important part of those numbers to me is the fact that we hit over 5,000 holders. In less than 6 weeks, there are 5,000 people in the world that believe in the vision that we're trying to create, the products that we want to bring to market, how we want to modify and alter this space. There are believers in that, and for that, I am extremely grateful. The next thing I want to touch on is transparency above all. Some of you, most of you may have already known that we fell victim to a very sophisticated scam. There's been articles that are being put out about it. There's going to be future press releases on it because we weren't the only token that had succumbed to that same group. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of information on them. We don't know where they are, where they're from, or anything like that. But we have properly notified the authorities, and it's out of our hands at this point. We don't foresee any future restitution for this. We don't think that will ever happen, but we do want to move forward. And one of the things that we grappled with when this first happened was, how do we announce it? How do we address this situation to the community? And it was transparency above all. Regardless of what was going to happen, we wanted to make sure everybody knew about it and that everybody had an equal opportunity to digest the information as it was happening in real time. So that's the approach we decided to take, and that's why I ended up doxing a few days earlier than I anticipated. So that is the mantra that we were going to carry for the remainder of this project. Good news or bad news, one thing that I will make a promise to all of you is that I will share information with you as soon as I can, when I can. Transparency above all, and it'll always be that way. The second thing I want to touch on about the community is that our primary focus is to put people first. There is an individual in our community that had a dear family member close to them pass away. And so without hesitation, we got together, spent a few hours just chatting, trying to have a good time, sharing some laughs, even had a couple of drinks on the video. And, you know, the thing about that is that in the corporate world, that's probably not the best thing for a CEO to be doing, to having a drink just randomly with an investor or an individual that's part of their community. But we want to be different, right? We want to make sure that we are putting people first and always putting people first, because that is what's important. It's not about how much money you have, how much money you make. I guarantee you, if you have kids, if you have family members, you have brothers, sisters, siblings, fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, if any of them are in a situation where they're in jeopardy, they're in harm's way, they're sick, they're ill, there's not probably one of us here that wouldn't give up everything they have to make sure that they're going to be okay. So we want to make sure that we're putting people first in everything we do. And because of that, and because of the community we established, we were actually able to rally around that incident that had happened. Now, other tokens haven't been as fortunate. Hopefully they will come out and they will recover from what had happened to them. But for us to bounce back the way we did, absolutely inspirational, especially for me. So big thank you to the community for that. Now, going on to the project itself, the utilities. When we talk about what utilities we're bringing to the table, we currently have in development the Voter SaaS platform. That is going to comprise of multiple components that are going to be used to enable organizations or entities to establish votes and essentially establishing a line of communication with their community or their audience or their employees or their investors, whatever have you. It's a way for them to have a shared direction in what it is that they're doing. And that's the focus and the goal of that platform. We believe that it can not only be used in the crypto space, but this can actually be used in the commercial world and even in the federal, state, and local space as well. So that is going to be the first utility that we are building, and that will be the first utility that we release. And currently it is on schedule to be released sometime in the second quarter of 2022. The second utility that we're working on is the financial services platform. We want to create an environment where people can come and safely exchange goods and services for financial services. And what I mean by that is, if you think about it in terms of the world of the metaverse, if someone has a piece of property or an NFT that they want to mortgage, or if they want to take a loan out, or if they want to borrow against other assets that they have to make a purchase, right? To be able to facilitate those transactions, they want to be able to do it in a safe and secure place. And that is the second product that we're bringing to the table. There's the second utility that we're going after, and that's the second product that we're going to be doing. Now, both the voter platform and the financial services platform are somewhat, not completely, but somewhat intertwined. So the development and the efforts that are being put into the Voter SaaS platform, some of those components, some of the technology that's being designed in that platform is going to be leveraged for the financial services platform. While we do not have a timetable for the financial services platform, that timetable will become clearer as we get the first version out of the Voter SaaS platform. The third utility is our investments. We don't only just want to provide a financial services platform. We want to provide a mechanism for folks to start their own dreams. We want to provide seed money, foundational investments, and organizations and folks that have the right kind of vision that we believe in as a community and support them on. At the same time, it'd be nice to make a little bit of profit off of that. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be seeding other ventures, and we're going to be doing that for the benefit of our holders. The fourth component is the merge, buy, and burn. Now, a lot of people are familiar with the terminology buyback and burn, buyback and burn. Well, with the merge, buy, and burn, there is no buyback because merchandise is being purchased with outside funds. It's not being purchased with RMTX. It's being purchased by fiat And soon, later down the road, probably the next month, month and a half, it will actually be able to be purchased with crypto. So the merchandise store is going to enable us to take that profit, purchase RMTX, and dispose of RMTX. So we are going to be using that as a buy and burn mechanism. The last two you all should all be very familiar with. These are our reflections. The RMTX token itself offers a 9% currently of reflections in EGC, which by holding EGC also offers reflections in BUSD. Now, there's been a lot of questions around why didn't you use a stable coin? Why not use BUSD? Why not use USDT? Why not use some other stable coin or a coin that's tied to a larger, more well-known token? And you would save on tax too. Well, we believe in EGC. We believe in the concept that they are pursuing. We like their community. We like the message that they bring to this space, and we're bullish on EGC. But I want to iterate that even though we're aware that we're paying a little bit of a higher tax, the tax fees are not light. But if we look at and do a pure mathematical evaluation of where we would be in terms of our returns from day one to now, by reflecting BUSD, we would have less of a return reflecting EGC, even though EGC has a higher tax for that reflection. And that's because of its potential. That's because of its rise in price. So that is the reason why we're reflecting in EGC and not a stable coin, because we believe in it more firmly. The investment and the return on investment is not that pure BUSD that could be used in exchange for fiat currency, but for a token that also has a very bright future ahead of itself. And that's why we do that. So I know I went a little bit over, about 6-7 minutes over than what I wanted to do, but Dave, before I open it up to your group, I do have a couple of housewarming gifts, if that's all right.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, so exclusive on TangoCrypto, we're going to announce the first housewarming gift.
Ha.
So for all of our investors and for anyone that's interested in looking at Rematic tokens, we want to share with you something that hasn't been shared yet publicly. Back in December, we started some initial conversations with a gentleman named Michael Simpsomos. He is a world-renowned professional who's worked for many Fortune 500 companies and has established a reputation. He's also a very well-known author as well. He has over 30 years experience in project management, coaching, and consultation services, and he is going to be guiding our team over the next 4 to 5 months. We have been having several meetings with him to date. He is implementing and putting together, even though myself, from my professional background, and Ricky and others that are on this call have experience in project management and have been doing this for many years, the amount of experience that he brings to the table and he's going to give to the core team is going to be invaluable. So he is going to be our official coach. He is brought on. He is been retained for the next several months, and he will guide us and help us put the proper management structure around implementing not just the products, but managing the community and everything associated with it. So there's his website. You can check him out, but he is going to be giving us guidance as we take this journey, not just with ourselves, but with the community as well. So check him out, do some research. It's very, very exciting news. The second thing that I want to offer up as a second housewarming gift is that the merch site is now available. For the next 6 days, we're doing a 10% off absolutely everything in the store. The second thing I want to call out is that it is a little pricey. We are using a print-on-demand service provider behind the scenes. The logos, the designs, and everything like that is stuff that we've done. But all of the merchandise is printed in a decentralized fashion in different factories around the world to make sure they try to get the products out to those who order it as quickly as possible. All of our margins and the revenue are going to be disclosed to the public. We are going to make sure that the community knows exactly how much revenue we received month over month, how much profits we received, because a large portion, if not all of it, is going to be going to that buy and burn mechanism. And that essentially starts today. So the merchandise store is open. It is available. It's store.RematicEGC.com. There will be a link from our main page to this page, but I don't know if it's there yet or not. But that will be up in the next 6-7 hours or so if it's not already taken care of. So one thing I do want to point out is that the site and the merchandise is currently in a pre-launch status, which means is that the orders will actually execute in about 6 days from now. So anything that you order, that order will be processed and finalized in 6 days, and the manufacturers will start making the product at that point in time, which is why we're offering this up now at 10% off of your orders. So get your orders in now. Those will be the first that are shipped off to the warehouses for printing and sent out to community members. So with that, Dave, I wanted to just sort of open it up for Q&A and spend however much time you want for the rest of the evening answering any questions your community might have.
Well, wow. So first of all, let me say thank you for the housewarming gifts. I think that's really cool and totally unexpected. Very gracious, very classy, and exemplifying exactly who you guys are. So just thank you on behalf of all of us. Hopefully they're not all over there buying the merch right now and dropping off of the chat with us here tonight.
I hope not, because there's, like I said, they're not going to be processed for 6 days. So even if you get your order in now, even if you get charged on your card or whatever, it's going to be 6 days before it gets the order gets actually processed. So don't go buy the merch right now. Hang out with us for a bit, and then the 10% is there in the banner across the top of the page. It's not going anywhere. You can use it as many times as you want. So don't worry about that.
Fantastic. And I wanted to say congratulations on 5,000 holders in your first 6 weeks. That is insanely good. Very, very excited to see that happening with Rematic. And I know a lot of us here at TangoCrypto are just really kind of just giggling, watching the chart over the last few days and couple of weeks. So it's been a fun ride, and we're glad to be on it with you guys for sure. I do have a couple of questions that I had written down. Some of our, we created a channel, opened it up to our Discord members that have been here a while and we're starting to ask. I know your roadmap mentions the increase of reflections from 9 to 10%. I heard you say 9, but I didn't hear if you gave a time on the 10% increase. Is that fixed, or is that something that you're looking for a benchmark?
That will happen in March.
March.
Yes.
Okay.
Whether that's the beginning, the middle, towards the end, I'm not exactly sure, but there'll be at least a couple of weeks notice ahead of time before that happens. But that will happen sometime in March.
Awesome. And a deeper question from that same user was, if everything keeps going well with Evergrow, obviously you're behind that, but if something was to change with Evergrow, would you ever consider changing your target as far as your reflection token? Or is that possible in your contract?
That is something that we have as one of the top of the priority lists for our dev that started last week, our Solidity dev. We are looking at that. As of right now, we don't foresee any need to change, but we are preparing for sort of that break the glass here in case of emergency type situation, so that way we're prepared for that. Let's say, for example, we need to move away from EGC tomorrow. We do have a sort of break glass emergency plan in place that I don't want to go into too much detail on, but yes, we are making plans to make that quote unquote plan aware to the public, if that makes sense. But we do have something at our disposal if there was a need to have to switch at a moment's notice.
Okay, got it. And also one of the questions I had was as far as, and I'm not aware of this as it being an issue, but is there a status to the fix of the automatic reward transfers, or is it a problem, or is it just volume, or something along those lines? Is there a known issue with having to manually claim?
There's an input function in the contract that pertains to gas fees and what the maximum amount of gas fees are that could be used at any point in time. And what we're seeing right now, and keep in mind that our Solidity dev just started last week. He is on a part-time basis, not a full-time basis. It's not listed sort of in the core team that you saw up there, but we are on schedule to have a meeting with him tomorrow to dive into his findings. So there is more information to come on that in the next couple of days. Those meetings are ongoing, and that person is part of our team, but just not ready yet to share information on what those findings look like. The only thing I can say is what I mentioned earlier, is that there is an input function in the contract that we could use to potentially increase the amount of bandwidth of gas that transactions use, which could expedite the automation, but could also potentially impact the fee price in terms of what BSC consumes when it does a transaction. So we're being very cautious about that, and we'll definitely be providing more information once we have it. And like I said, we're meeting with the developer tomorrow, actually.
Awesome. So at this time, are you recommending for users to manually claim, or are you recommending to just allow the automatic process to happen, even if it's a little delayed right now?
My recommendation for at least the next couple of weeks, if not longer, is to just let it sit. The amount of BUSD, and again, it really depends on your individual holding size or what your intentions are with that. If you're looking to liquidate your EGC, then yes, you would want to do a claim and then liquidate after the claim. If you are looking to simply see it in your wallet, I would I would suggest against it, because the amount of BUSD that would be coming in for the EGC that's currently waiting to be claimed is virtually negligible and will not make up the difference in that gas fee and claiming it in the first place, if that makes sense.
It does. It does.
So I would use it as a mechanism if you're looking to liquidate. Other than that, I wouldn't bother.
I agree with that too. I got in the habit of trying to claim it myself, and then as you probably saw on Twitter, I did a poll because the guys here on TangoCrypto, they dared me that I wouldn't be able to go a day without looking at my Trust wallet, which for me is everything I do all day long. And it was difficult, but I managed to pull it off somehow. And I didn't claim, so I need to go back over there because I know I've got a benchmark, I think, sitting there that I need to see if I hit it yet. So that'll be another tweet coming out about that. I did have an interesting question. I really like the way this was worded. So I know new tokens are coming out all the time. We're starting to see, like, overall, it looks like there is a increase in the percentages of rewards. So I know with you at 9 going to 10, the user asks a question. If, let's say, your business just becomes overwhelmingly successful, there's a massive profit margin, you're making a lot of money, everything looks good, do you have a plan to increase your reward percentage down the road if things just are very hunky-dory and everything's going well?
The reward percentage is one aspect of the tax, right? So you have the 9% being distributed right now, with an additional 4% going to the liquidity and 1% going to team funding.
Right.
That's the distribution model for that 14% tax. Now, within that 14%, we can play around. We can move reflections to 10. We can move reflections to 8. We can reduce liquidity from 4 to 3 to 2, etc. Right? We have flexibility within that. But if we want to extend, say, increase the percentage of distribution to the holders and keep all of the other distributions of that tax the same, then we would have to ultimately increase the tax of each transaction. And I don't see us doing that anytime in the near future. So while we do anticipate going on from 9 to 10, that is something that we are going to stick to, but we do not want to alter the overall tax percentage of each transaction at this time, if that makes sense.
It does. That's solid. I like the idea of it. I know there was a lot of questions that were basically about that. I don't have, and maybe I've got Coach helping me out here today. We've got another channel that if people are in the AMA questions chat, they can type a question, and then Coach can either ask that question or bring them up on stage if they're here live. I can't change my screen because I'm recording. So, Coach, do you have any additional questions in AMA questions channel?
Yes, got about 6 more right now. Crypto J4WS wants to know, as the technology that Rematic team developed and becomes adopted, Does the team plan to reward the holders with a higher reflection percentage? Now, it's kind of what you were talking about.
Some of those questions I already asked. I'm sorry, I should have put a check mark on the ones that I wrote down already.
And then the next one behind that would be by Alan. Rematic question is whether the blockchain that offers a SAS a thought or possibility in the future. So,
would you rephrase the question just a little bit, or maybe repeat it?
Sounds like maybe the question is about you possibly creating your own blockchain down the road.
Correct.
Okay. Right now, that is not in our development plans. We have utilities that we're focusing on and want to build for the blockchains that exist that are out there today. We do not have any plans, but that doesn't mean plans don't change. So I'm not going to say that we're going to commit to creating our own blockchain and having a blockchain for Rematic. What I'm saying is that right now it's not in any of our plans.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, Dog wants to know, and you answered this at the very beginning, but he didn't log in until almost 7:20. What is your why and motivation for starting the project and seeing it through?
Yeah, the why for the project is as a personal investor that was learning about this space 12, 18 months ago, I became annoyed with the scams that I fell victim to. Mm-hmm. I've seen how some tokens have been extremely successful with what appears to be on the surface, very little effort or a huge lack of professionalism from that standpoint, and it bothered me. I felt like this is a space where sort of a gift or an opportunity, for that matter, to create amazing things and create wealth for not just the token owners and the company owners, but for investors as well. And so I'm shooting my shot, if it were, right? I'm taking my approach, my experience, my knowledge that I have in the career that I've lived out, and bringing that to this space, and that's my why.
Nice.
That sounds mighty great to me. Ivy Ramey, I think I'm saying that right. Any plans for the CEO to be a full-time Rematic soon?
That's a great question, and I don't have an immediate answer for it.
It's kind of hard to answer.
As of right now,
on a recording.
It's a tough. It's a really tough question because it's kind of a gray area right now. No, and it's fine. I don't mind answering it, and I'll answer it the best way I can. Is that with the doxing coming a little premature, and not having an opportunity to properly explain current state of affairs in the project that I'm working on with certain individuals in my current job, I don't know what that looks like. It could be next week. It could be in a couple months. But ideally, the plan, the strategy going forward, and what the original plan was from the beginning was to do this once the utility is ready to hit the commercial market. Once the utility is ready to hit the commercial market, that was the intention of becoming on to this 100% full-time, i.e. day job finished. So hopefully that understands, but right now it's kind of an up in the air, touch and go situation. So that, yeah, hopefully that answers that question.
It was a very good answer.
Tough to answer that question in case the boss might be listening.
All right, Crypto Jaws.
You never know. You never know.
Crypto Jaws wants to say hi to Ricky and James. And then his question is, what are the plans for marketing in the next coming months? Ads, press releases, etc.
Well, I'll leave that with Ricky and James then.
Sorry, can you say that again, please? My headset was a bit like screw-whiffed. I didn't hear it.
What are your plans for marketing in the next coming months? Ads, press releases, etc. What?
Yeah. So, well, currently we have ads running. So we have core networks on, well, social, not social, on like crypto networks. So, like your PooCoin and all that. I'm not saying PooCoin, but I'm just using that as a crypto network. But all these like different ones, they're currently doing like a trial and error process. So a lot of them at the moment are going through different like kind of country-based networks, so ones potentially in, let's say, Turkey or like Iran or like America, or just ones with different kind of populations and like different crypto kind of backgrounds we're trying to tap into, just to see where and who like are generally the best at getting engagement from. So the crypto networks, we've got social ones coming live very soon. So I had a call today with the agency. They should be having Facebook and Instagram ads running within the day, I'm pretty sure. From there, like other avenues, like you said, PR articles, that is something. Can we say it yet? I don't know if I should. Like, we have like a PR article potentially coming out very soon, which we'll address in a few days' time. At the moment, as you might have seen, one of the articles did come out, and it was kind of us going out and reaching out to one of the networks who allowed us to they didn't allow us to, they just did it for us because we didn't actually pay them anything. They wanted to discuss what happened regarding the scam for us, Taboo, the other project, for example, and they kind of put that kind of awareness out there for us, the community, and other projects who might be coming into this space, or just ones existent already, because of how sophisticated it was. Moving forward, there's loads of different avenues we can take. For me personally, I want to try and breach other countries and such. Like, I know we have quite a presence in a few areas, but there's a lot of work in positions where we can actually pursue different language barriers, for example, different Telegram groups. There's a lot of marketing in-house we can do via like the community, via like Twitter shilling, raids, but that gets to an area where we don't really want to do that because it's not as professional as it can be. But there's a whole spectrum of like marketing ideas we are pursuing, and it's going to come down the line. But currently, like I said, networks, social medias, PR articles are all in the pipeline and in the works. So they should be coming, and they are already present. So they will be coming more. And so, was there another part of that question?
That was pretty much it. You covered it very well, other than them telling you howdy. Well, howdy. They said hi.
If you don't mind, just with the marketing aspect of things, yes, we got James has been working quite a bit of that. Obviously, what's also equally important is our community and the word of mouth and the perception and all that stuff, basically the brand recognition and stuff, which we are working on things that to help preserve that, to continue echoing the same message or whatnot, or giving the same presentation that that we've been providing. So and our community has grown so well, and everyone's been we've been admiring everyone in the chats because they've been helping each other, and that's what we're about too. So that's just one little aspect of the marketing that we're going after too.
Just to add on to that as well, because you said that regarding the community, externally, like yourselves, Mobile Trades, there's a lot of YouTubers who are kind of on this bandwagon now, who are generally community-based, project-based, and one's really tied into the actual mechanics of a tokenomics coin or the professionalism backed behind the token and the team, for example. So as you see a lot recently, you have like LSP TV, you have like other names out there who frequently do the videos for us without us, initiating it. So like Ricky was saying, the community has played a massive part, because I know, like, when it comes to the analytical side of things, the organic growth and the word of mouth has actually been a major kind of part in how we've grown from the get-go moving forward. So like YouTube videos and such, that they're massive impacted, and that there'll be something we obviously pursue further and provide content for, and video updates and stuff for the YouTubers to do.
And we appreciate all that for sure. 100%. Coach, did you have any other questions?
Yeah, been 4 more added, and we're gonna. The limit's gonna be about 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah, just a few more minutes, and I have one final question that'll just take a minute. So
okay, the El Eco Loco wants to know, are any plans on the Safe Moon Wallet swap application for Rematics? That's kind of a circle question there. I anticipate he wants to know if Rematic's going to be added to the SafeMoon wallet.
Yeah, my understanding, and again, that to me, I view that question before I answer that as similar as, is Rematic going to be on Trust Wallet, or is Rematic going to be on MetaMask? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe someone in the audience can correct me if I'm wrong, but the SafeMoon wallet is simply just a wallet. It's a visibility onto your wallet, onto the blockchain. So that is and should already be there. If we're talking about the logo itself, there's been movements in terms of the goalpost as to what the threshold is in terms of the number of users before we can get our logo in the wallet to represent the amount of tokens that are being held by you, and have our nice shiny double R logo in the actual wallet itself. So I hope that answers the question.
Well, you're correct about that part, but the question was SafeMoon Swap. SafeMoon Swap is by invitation only by SafeMoon. So if you guys talk to SafeMoon Swap to see,
no, we haven't had any. Go ahead, James.
Yeah. So I'm not saying I've spoken to him, because like you said, it is invitationally only. I have emailed him, like, just on our behalf, without, CEO Mike knowing. This was not intentionally something I was pursuing. It was just something I was curious about. So I have emailed him, and exactly like you said, that is by invitation only. Their kind of process of that is we had to be a bit more kind of mature in our actual project's lifespan. It wasn't the fact that we weren't with the holders. And I think a big bracket of this was to do with transactional volume in the day. So, for example, I think when I checked this, we had transactional volume of, I think, I could be wrong, it might be 5 digits or 4, but it was like 3,000 or 30,000 transactionals in the day, and we had to hit a quota of a bit higher than that. So it was something I looked into, but I just left for the time being, because, like you said, it's something that can happen, but it's not part of our roadmap yet. I was just curious to see where it would be. And then again with the Trust Wallet, and just Mike, it's just like a little update. When that comes in, I've been in contact with them as well. They have emailed me and such, but like they've done with their terms, they've changed the kind of requirements again for like what you need to have to actually get your logo on Trust Wallet, for example. So I think currently it's 20,000 holders. I've tried to kind of not negotiate, but kind of like go to him in a manner to say that we were up prior to the 5,000 minimum. Then they bumped up to 10,000. Now it's 20,000. So I'm just again waiting on their reply, because one of their major factors is they want to have that secure, well-known coins on there. So I've tried to present them with as much information as I possibly can to present our case in such a professional manner. But it's one of them where I just have to wait for a reply back and see if they, take it in the kindness, for example, to actually put us on there.
Thanks.
That sounds very good. Very good. There's 3 left, and might get time, might not get time. 4 left. I'm sorry. Boomer wants to know wants to state that the voting system has enormous potential. Mm-hmm. Have any positive discussions been held with potential customers?
Not yet. No. We do have some relationships that we are going to pursue, and contacts that we are going to discuss this with, but until we're able to demo a walkthrough or provide samples of how the product is actually working, we are not pursuing customers. So that is the approach that I want to take as an organization. Now, that could change in the next month or two, but if we have a product that we can viably demo, then that's when we're going to pursue actual clients on the commercial side of the house. Now, when I'm referring to is the commercial and public sector side. The crypto side, that is a little bit different, and we are always open and willing to talk to other entities about how this can be used from them out of the gate, if that helps.
Oh, that was excellent. You made very good sense. You don't sell something you ain't got. I mean,
that's, yeah.
You get no plainer than that. Mad Killer wants to know, are we planning to get listed on sexes? If so, Of the top sectors that do not support tokenomics, any plan on how to go forward with that, such as SafeMoon, Mobility, and EGC when they are out?
Yeah, so in regards to exchanges, in our roadmap, we said that we weren't going to pursue any exchanges in the first 90 days. One of the things that we have done is we've initiated some conversations with some exchanges at this point in time. We are talking to some exchanges directly. We're also talking to some organizations that are responsible for working on behalf of multiple exchanges. So there are consultancy firms that are out there that help tokens get on not just one exchange, but multiple exchanges. So we're having conversations with those entities now as we speak. Now, we are not pursuing an exchange in the next 2 weeks, next 3 weeks. You're not going to hear Rematic tokens on an exchange in January. It's just not going to happen at this point in time. Based on the roadmap, we're anticipating hitting exchanges towards the end of Q1, early part of Q2. So that is going to be our objective, and that's the plan that we're going to stick to it, and there's a reason for it.
Sounds great. Sounds really great. All right. Billy RR24. How will revenue from the voting platform be distributed? Is it a buyback and burn? And then he wants to thank you for your answering the questions and for all the hard work y'all do.
Yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I haven't given a chance for Brady to chime in on any questions. So, Brady, if you're still on, I'd like you to talk a little bit about how the tokenomics and the transactions are going to generate value for the holders. I could touch on it if you don't want to, but I'd like to give you a chance to speak for a bit.
Yeah, sure. So to touch on it from kind of more of the technical and commercial side. So what's happening with each vote and each person who purchases a subscription to our platform is there's going to be essentially transaction fees. So think of how when you swipe a Visa credit card or how you swipe your like MasterCard at the bank or at any place that you go to, a portion of that transaction is used to essentially pay a fee to Visa, a fee to the bank, and so on. And so we're taking a similar approach and kind of modeling this how a lot of other software as a service companies model it, is we are making it so that we are charging based off of transactions. And what's going to happen is a portion of those transactions and of the profits of the transactions are going to be essentially put aside and used to purchase RMTX and trigger a buyback and burn. So say that we have somebody or we have an organization that purchases licensing for 10,000 votes, for example. That is 10,000 transactions that are occurring. And out of each of those transactions, we're going to be essentially taking RMTX or making RMTX purchases with a portion of each of those that are going to be burned. If that kind of makes sense.
Did well. Yeah, made a lot of sense. Got one last question, and it's pretty simple. Feller just wants to, his name is Six Wallet. He wants to know, he says, EGC reflections are cool, but wants to know if there's a future opt-in for Rematic to self-reflect Rematic.
I think we kind of touched on that a little bit earlier in terms of our ability to need to pull the fire escape hatch if we need to in regards to switching a token. That could be a fiat pegged currency token. It could be another token. It could be our own token. There's no difference between that. So to answer that question, technically, yes, it could be, but that's not something that we've thought about or given a lot of consideration to.
Well, very good. You got it. That's all the questions we got in our list over here. So, Dave, it's up to you.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you moderating that for me so that I could keep the screen on record. Really appreciate that. So I have a last question that I kind of wanted to reserve, because one of the things that really excited me when I first started to do my review of this token, pre-launch, was the voting and the idea of the voting. And I know, I guess what I maybe it's a two-part question. Is the long-term vision to include like the type, like we're talking about, like elections in the public, like mayors and senators and governors and maybe even like the president of the United States? Is that the type of voting that we're talking about when we're talking? I mean, I don't know that anybody's even asked this question, or but I just want to get some clarification on that.
That is not the goal out of the gate. That's not to say that that can't be where we end up in 2 to 3 years, 5 years time. Now we have to prove this out, right? We have to prove out to the crypto space, we have to prove out to the commercial world, and we have to prove out to the public sector that this is a viable product, that it is secure, and the votes are immutable. We have to prove that out, and we have to prove that out over a period of time before we get to that stage. So yes, that is the ultimate goal. But that is not something that we could conceivably tell investors, yeah, that's what we're going for in a year. That's what we're going for in 2 years. That's the long-term goal. But that is not something that would happen in the near future.
Well, I think shooting for something like that, knowing, I know that it's an international company, so you're going to have crypto people coming from everywhere. But, the United States is not the only place that's had problems with elections. Sure. In the last 5 to 10 years. There are other countries that have very similar issues to what we experienced back in November a couple of years ago with fraud and things like that. So I know that having a blockchain-based voting system where everybody gets one vote, the vote is registered, it can't be changed, I think that is something super powerful. And knowing that that's even kind of on your long range radar is what excites me as an investor in your token. And that's why I decided to pull the trigger and become an investor with you guys. And I know a lot of the same people, we were kind of like, really? Is that what they're going to do? Like, really? So we're just excited to see you guys here, because what we're trying to do here with TangoCrypto is very similar message to what you guys have stated. We got sick and tired of seeing all the trash tokens and the crap tokens, whatever you want to call them, where people are just designing things that are intentionally made to take the money from people that maybe they don't know how to do research yet, or maybe they just refuse to do research and they want to just invest emotionally, and they jump on the candles and stuff like that. We're trying to create a space that will educate people on how to get better and become more mechanical about investing, more mathematical, so to speak, like with our our philosophies and the things that we do. But I think that what we're trying to do in the space of crypto is overall we're just trying to clean it up, right? And so are you guys too. So I want to commend you for being honorable men and taking on this mission. I'm glad to be a part of the journey with you, and I look forward to a long relationship between our two organizations to help each other, kind of further that motive of taking care of the people who want to join into cryptocurrency, but they're maybe scared because they hear all the nightmare stories. And I think, it may take us some time to clean it up, but I know that we can do it. But the only way we can do it is to partner with guys like you. And I like to say that you guys are the elite of the elite, because it's very rarely that the right thing to do is the easiest thing to do. It's typically almost the hardest thing to do. So charging up this hill together is exciting, and I'm happy that you're doxxed. I'm sad that it happened under the circumstances. I know you were planning to do it anyway. I hope it didn't affect your personal or financial life by having to kind of jump out ahead. And I hope that Rematic is just wildly successful, so that any financial concerns or anything like that for you and your family don't get mixed up. And I wish you guys all the best of success. And I can't let you go without saying I really appreciate the housewarming gifts tonight, and just the fact that you took your time to be here and be part of this family that we're building. So thank you guys for being here tonight. And if you want to have like a last word or anything like that, I'll turn it over to you, and then we'll call it a night.
All right. Well, Dave, again, you and the entire TangoCrypto community want to thank you for having us. Really appreciate it. Coach, heck of a job doing all and handling all the questions. That was fantastic. Really appreciate it. And anytime you want us to come out and have a chat or just talk about how things are coming along, we're more than happy to do that. really appreciate you extending the invitation, and glad to be a part of it. It's all about teaming up, and like you said, changing how the larger audience views this space is really what it comes down to, right? Yes, we want to build a voter platform. Yes, we want to build a financial services exchange, or a platform to allow and facilitate transactions. Yes, we want to do these things, and there's more things that we want to do, but part of that mission has to be instilling confidence in this space by people that aren't familiar with this space, and that's really hard to do when you have scammers running rampant. If we can minimize the impact that they have, and reduce the advantage that they're able to take off of people who want to bring good to this space, then I think we're doing the right thing.
One day at a time, brother.
Absolutely.
Well, we appreciate you guys being here, and I just want to thank all of our attendees tonight. I think this was an overwhelming success, and I look forward to many more AMAs, not only from your company, but from all the different companies that are wanting to do the same thing we're doing, to changing the space for the good. So just to all of the team at Rematic, from all the team at TangoCrypto, we really appreciate you guys being here for sure. Thank you so much. So feel free to also come join us over on the TangoCrypto Discord server. We'll be happy to have you guys join us. We're always looking for new members in our community, and we're there to help. If you're learning in crypto right now and you want to get better at it, it's a great place to come and join us over on the TangoCrypto Discord server. So look for the link in the description for the video below. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you on the next video.